X. The views expressed and the opinions given by the individual host and their guests do not necessarily reflect those of Para X, its affiliates, or its sponsors.
Supernatural. Magic. Ghosts. UFOs. Bigfoot. Extraterrestrial. Psychic energy.
This is The Calling.
And good evening, everyone. I actually forgot to unmute my mic. Good evening, everyone. Another Wednesday night, and it's actually really nice out. What about you, Kimmy?
Yeah, it's nice, but it's still a little chilly, I think.
Yeah, just a bit. Not too bad. Not too bad.
Mm-mm.
Yeah. It's what is it supposed to be for tomorrow?
Oh, I have no clue. To be
Oh, come on. I'm kidding. No, I hear you. No, I'm just joking with you.
We're giving the weather report.
Giving the weather report. Hi, my name's Jerry, and you're not. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that's funny. So, let's see here. Oh, Ghost Valley's in the crowd there. Awesome.
Yeah,
I didn't know what he looked like till just now. I was on his radio show about a week ago, and they did the replay of that. It was a podcast. I do believe it was last night or the night before. I can't remember. I'm old. And we got Geeks Paranormal. That's the next show coming up, which everybody has to stick around and everything. That's kind of nice. Okay. So everything's good in the Juarez compound?
As you can tell, we have dogs visiting right now, so you'll hear me go off the mic. I'm sorry. But I have a puppy. Sorry, guys.
That's right. What did you name that puppy anyway?
Okay, Kali. It's Kali.
Carly?
Kali.
Kali.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
Perfect.
Like a deaf person would say.
No, well, it's like an Indian princess. So.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Well, that's good. Awesome. And she listens to the name well, or does she kind of look at you like, okay, wait a minute, say it again?
She thinks this is Kelly. Come on, Kelly, let's go. I try.
That's funny. Okay, just to let everybody know out there, I am suffering from a major cold. So, if I suddenly sign off, that means I'm going to spend at least a few seconds hacking, but I won't do that over the air.
Have you been drinking Coronas? You don't have the coronavirus, do you, Jerry?
No, no, I don't have that. And according to the doctor, he looked at me and said, that's not how you get it. And it's like, duh, I'm joking. He's like, that's the first one to ever say that. It's like, oh my God, really? Come on, dude. Crazy. Anyway, so our guest tonight, I'm so excited. I'm just so excited.
He's like gushing like a little girl.
Yes. Oh, I just love this lady so much and everything. Valentina Lomborg Wiley, how you doing, sweetie?
Hi.
So, what's new in your world? You're still down in Florida, right?
Yeah, this is year number 5.
Year number 5.
I can't believe year number 5. It's blown by. Still here, still doing what I do. Just only new thing is I've moved. I got married. Yeah, just we have a pet flying squirrel.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Is that a sugar glider or?
No, it's actually a flying squirrel that we rescued. It ended up falling on our foot, Matt's foot, when he was biking. And he comes home with this little thing here, and I'm like, what the hell is it? But I fed it, strangely enough, coconut milk, and brought it back to health. And now it's just taken a liking to us, and it's a year old. And so at this point, if you put it out in the real world, it will only last about 5 years versus captivity of 10 years. So we have it in a cage, but he will... We will wear it, and it'll just jump from person to person in the house, and it flies over to us, and it's definitely different, but we love it.
Oh, that's great. So what does the Queen Lyra think about it, your cat?
Oh my God, this is the weirdest thing, because when it jumped off of us, we didn't know what to think, because the squirrel just ran up and down the floor, and Lyra didn't know what to make of it, so she just stayed behind. But sometimes we lose the squirrel in the house, so we look for Lyra to sit there and kind of point at it, but not attack it. So it's quite remarkable how she hasn't gone after it, because it looks just like a cat toy. The squirrel looks like a cat toy. So yeah, so we have a happy little animal family here.
Well, that's good. That's good. So many people would just isn't that right, Kimmy? I mean, so many people would just take it, throw it back outside. They wouldn't even think about it,
Right.
And that's good to head, kudos to you, kid, for doing that. That's nice.
Yeah, it's meant to be. I mean, I don't know a damn thing about squirrels, but it worked out, and it's healthy, and it's eating, and so it's meant to be.
Awesome.
So how long
that's
have you
great.
had her? How long have you had her? I just want to know.
It is now, we got it. It's so funny because my husband went biking, and it was on his birthday. So he feels like it was a birthday present from the universe, because it fell right out of the tree on his foot when he was biking. So it's so coming up this October will be, well, actually, I'm sorry, it is already a year. So a year. Yeah, but it's like really, really small. It's just like this big. So, it's never going to grow any bigger.
Wow. So we already have a question in the chat room. Paranormal writer Ralph, he's asking, afraid to ask, how do you potty train a squirrel?
Well, given that the poop is like the size of a grain of rice, but he always manages to poop right when I get him out of the cage. He gets very excited, and their urine smells like ammonia. So, I mean, and it's just a little bitty drop, but it leaves me having to take the whole outfit off and wash it right away. So, but I mean, they're very, they're clean. Obviously, it has no diseases because it's been inside the whole time, and it just eats whatever we give it, nuts, seeds, fruits and vegetables. But I mean, it pees and goes in its little cage. So it's really, there's nothing really, I mean, it's so stinky. It's nothing to clean up really.
Gotcha. Okay. But you kind of quit eating rice around. Right.
My husband's favorite thing is he brings it up because we have to take it out. They're very people oriented, very clingy. So, and they're nocturnal. That was the one thing I found out. So I couldn't play with it all day. And then all of a sudden, come 8 o'clock, like clockwork, it starts squeaking and making this high pitched noise. And I'm like, oh my God, it's up all night. And it'll squeak until you play with it for about 15 minutes or whatever, and then put it back, and then it's happy. But my husband loves to bring it up right when I'm reading in bed and just let it run around the room, and it crawls all over our curtains. And then in the morning, I find little black pieces of rice all over. I have to vacuum up because he just likes to let it just run all over. And I mean, it's so small and cute anyway, but it's just like, oh my God, there's more little pellets of rice, black rice.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, good for you. That's
yeah.
Cool.
It's something to make life interesting,
Oh yeah, exactly. I mean, if you live down in Australia, I know you well enough where
I would have everything.
You would. They'd be stuffed in your place. It'd be crazy.
I'd be up to my eyeballs in koalas and wombats and wallabies and everything unpronounceable, kookaburras. But yeah.
Well, good. So, okay, one of the things that Kim and I would like to talk to you about is
Yes.
remote viewing.
Okay.
Okay,
Um,
for me.
okay, so here's where it's kind of a tricky thing because proper remote viewing apparently is all this CIA stuff. You know, I think it started in the World War. It's very trained. It involves, usually you have two people, and it involves sitting and working with coordinates. And then you see the coordinates, someone else writes them down, and then it's a lot of mathematical stuff. I do remote viewing on a lighter sense, meaning I can throw myself psychically, visually over to places, as in the cases of crime scenes and things like that, where I've had to go over to the place and describe things. That's usually when I use it the most. I have on occasion done mediumship readings where I was contacting loved ones on the other side and accidentally ended up in somebody living's house, and I start describing stuff in their toilet, and she's like, "That's my toilet," and I was like, "I'm so sorry, I'll get out of your house." So I don't know how, but you know, I didn't know that happened. So I did try the CIA version of, my friend was helping me work on that because I'm like, how do you do this? And so we were practicing together, and he was taking me through it verbally, and then I would close my eyes and I would just start writing down coordinates. We didn't complete it because then I had to go, but that version of remote viewing I'm working on. The other remote viewing that I do, because I am here physically when I'm throwing myself somewhere else, so I am remotely, in my terms, remotely viewing something from somewhere else. Okay, so just to make it clear, there's like the CIA version of remote viewing, and then there's V's version of remote viewing.
Gotcha. Okay. Kim, did you have a question before we go on to the next?
So what is it that you're specialized into? You know, like medium. You said
My
mediumship.
I'm
Your gifts.
Yeah, my gifts are mediumship, which mediumship is broken down into four. There's mental, spiritual, physical, and no, I can't remember. Testing me on my own skills here. Maybe it's emotional, but there's four types of mediumship skills. I have all four of those. I am also a psychic. I also have telekinetic powers, which I unfortunately never know when those happen. Stuff just starts breaking around me, or things fly off the shelves when I'm in the store. I've narrowed it down to it's some sort of thermal kinetic thing that happens.
Is it with emotions that you're going through for the day?
Yes.
Yep.
Everything, and it was always when I was on the phone with my mother, and she would always start talking about some guy that I despised, but yet I still loved him. And I feel like those two, I don't think love and hate can work together.
Right.
So they cancel out, and then all of a sudden I would just feel something start burning up, and then my cheeks would get hot, and then like my glasses would break right off my face. So I've narrowed it down to some sort of emotion, two emotions maybe canceling each other out, and then some sort of thermal thing happens inside me. I get really hot, and then I just feel it shoot out of my face. So in the case of the glasses, my glasses break, and I've broken now 5 pairs of glasses off my face. And then various things just start flying off the shelves in the store, and I'm like, I start looking around like, can we see the camera here? It's just weird. I never know when it's going to happen, but I kind of know that now that it ties in with, you know, some sort of emotion. So I'm really, I don't want to say powerful, but I have so much amped up energy inside me that sometimes it just goes into objects. I'm like fire starter.
Oh, God.
No. I was go ahead.
Oh, now you have a son. His name is Seven, right?
Yes.
Okay. Has Seven developed any type of, abilities or anything like that?
No, that's a good question. That's the first time I've heard that. No, Seven, he's very emotional. I recall when he was smaller, he could see things, but then every child can because they're more open. And in fact, one of those chapters is going, and in the book is going in about him and being able to see angels and things. But he's a very emotional, sensitive guy, but I think that's just his nature. Maybe I gave that to him, but he definitely has his own kind of structure. He's more left-brained, very analytical. So to do all the psychic stuff, you have to be over here on the right side. But yeah, no, he doesn't. He did have, when we lived in LA and I was having all those demonic attacks, he did manage to get scratched down his back. But that was the one time that there was an attack. It definitely made a believer out of him after that. But yeah, as far as abilities, no.
Gotcha. What book do you have out right now?
Nothing yet. I swear that I've been writing this book now for 9 years, but I want to do it right. It's my first book. I could have had it out probably in a year, but I really want to do it right. I've got one chapter left. I'm trying to have it done by. I gave myself till the end of February to get it to edited and published, and then it's going to Amazon. So, and it's called A Voice for the Dead. That's the first book, and that's all my paranormal cases. Well, not all of them, the most memorable. And then it's going to be followed by, I haven't named it yet, but then it's going to be about my psychic cases, the most memorable ones, and transitioning from the paranormal world to the psychic world. Because it is two different things that happen to me. But yeah, so I'm excited. It's just getting that last chapter. I know everyone's like, V, it's just one chapter, but oh my God, I'm a perfectionist. So it's going to be a little bit longer, and then that book's coming out, and I'm going to be popping the champagne once that happens.
I see, yeah. So question for you. One of the Sherry in the chat room had asked, has the guest viewed Akashic records, world lines or timelines, anything?
So I did take a class on Akashic records. I did sit there in the class. It was like a 2-hour class, and because I've been reading books on it, so there was a class somebody was offering. I thought, oh, good, maybe I can get a little bit more of a layman's terms because it is kind of complicated. I did get in there. I did learn how to access it, and then I kind of forgot. I have been in the library before, the Akashic library, and sometimes I do try to access it when I'm doing readings for people. Because it is something you have to practice on and you have to gain entrance and stuff. There's like a gatekeeper, and it's like all this other stuff. Because I'm always growing my knowledge base of everything I do spiritual. I'm always reading and learning and talking to people. So that's a whole different, and that's a big can of worms. That's a lot of stuff, and you really have to be in a very elevated state to get to that. But yes, I am. World timelines, I think she said. I'm not quite familiar with that. I don't know if that's what is that?
Not really sure.
I guess if I knew, I would.
Right.
If I knew it was,
right.
I would have. But yeah.
Kimberly? Kim?
So when did you start realizing that you had all these certain gifts and stuff?
Okay, so I'm 54 now as of last week. All of this started...
You don't look it.
Thank you.
Don't look it.
Oh, rewind back to when I was 23. I had a traumatic brain injury from a freak accident. It was a fall onto very thinly carpeted concrete floor, and I'll leave out a lot of details because, I took a while to get to the ER until I was slipping into a coma. And then about 3-4 days later, when I finally got in there, I was starting to slip into a coma and die. And when I got out of the hospital, I realized that I could hear wires in the wall. Everything was very, very loud. All my senses got so jumbled around. I got heightened. I could hug people and tell them what they're going to die from. I could walk into houses and tell people who were going to die and who was going to die. And it was really, really intense. And I didn't know what to make of it. So I started this book with whatever I would get, the information, and then the date that the information would come true. Well, pretty soon that book started filling up. And I'm like, okay, something's going on. How do I know all this information? So I was busy modeling in LA and my career was going really well. So I didn't really have time for all this extra stuff that kept being bombarded in. So yeah, it's been, I guess, 31 years that I've had this gift, but really tried to push it aside because it just really was, but information just kept coming.
Right.
And then flash forward to 2015 when within 2 weeks of each other, I lost both of my parents. And I'm an only child, so that was incredibly devastating for me. And it was at that point that I really realized in order for me to heal, I feel like I need to help others heal. And in that's going to help me, So rather than worry about how am I going to heal from this pain, I miss my mother every second of the day, I think I'll focus on helping other people, understanding death and what happens, and be that communicator for them. And in that, I can heal from that. So that has been now what I've been doing, and that was the reason for moving to Florida. I just needed to get away from the pain and the memories and the energy in Los Angeles. I couldn't handle being there, because I kept thinking my mother's going to drive up any minute, or I had to just delete that entire life, start fresh in Florida with a new life, and just move forward from that point on. And so I worked, before I met my husband, I worked 7 days a week. I usually would start at 2 and go till midnight. Like, that's all I do is live and breathe helping people. Now I put a little more boundary in it. I give myself a Wednesday off in the weekend, but, at that point, it's just like nothing else mattered but just talking to the other side. I got so obsessed with talking that for 2 months I forgot to even pay my bills. I was up there. I was so high vibrational. No, I kid you not. I started getting mail and I'm like, why is everything due? And I realized I just spent so much time up in the universe that I literally forgot to come back down and be human and pay my bills.
That's crazy. Wow. So, okay, hold up a second here. What Sherry was saying when she was asking before, basically a world where you are different gender or live in another city.
Oh, I've never heard of such a thing. That sounds really crazy. I mean, well, it's weird because every night I astral project and I'm off doing very important missions. I don't really see myself, but I'm different people. I've never been any other gender, but I am off doing a lot of things, and I do see a lot of different cities and planets. So I know that that's probably totally different than what Sherry was asking. So I'm probably going to have to say no on that part of Sherry's question.
Okay, no problem. Steph had asked a question. This is about Kimmy and I. Do you see anything for either of us?
Wait, who's asking what? Wait, what?
Stephanie in the chat room
Stephanie's
is asking, because you say that you see things for people.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Just kind of curious if you've seen anything for Kimberly or myself.
Well, I'll work on it. I really like I've gotten better at switching off my gifts because I'm inundated all day long, and so I finally found that magic switch. So I'm obviously focused intently on listening and answering questions. But if I feel anything, and anything comes through, I will just interject and say it. Like Tourette's syndrome here. I'll just blurt something out.
Okay, that's great. That's great. Okay. So going back to the California, when you were in California, you did a lot of things. I mean, you've been an actress. You had your own TV show, didn't you, for a while? Valentina, the Ghost Girl, and it had basically to do with the Queen Mary, if I'm correct, right?
Yeah, I'm obsessed. I was back
awesome.
there again in December. I wasn't going back. I was in LA, and I was like, I'm not leaving until I have a couple days. On the way back to Florida, I'm staying. So, yeah, I was there for 2 days again last December. I'm obsessed with that place.
I know it's an awesome place.
It's whether I see ghosts or not. I mean, I go and have tea at the bow of the boat. I sit at the bar. There's so much to do there that I just enjoy, being transformed back to the 1940s. Something happens as soon as I set foot on that thing. If I just come in,
I have to ask, Jerry. So, do you see anything, Valentina, on that boat? I mean, what do you see? I mean, there's lots of activity on that boat.
yeah, I mean, this time, because I was with like 5 people, I could feel that the ghosts were shying away, because I can feel when ghosts don't like a lot of people.
Right.
And so I get the most activity when I'm by myself. I have never not had anything happen. I have had the sheets pulled off of me. I've had hangers rattle in the closet. I had the door lock hang. I had a light on, and then I went out in the hallway to see my friends because they were going to stay on board. I come back, the light has been turned off. Well, no, I'm sorry. There was a light on, so I went and turned it off. I went out in the hallway. I come back, another light is on over the bed.
Wow.
I've captured 2 ghosts now that were featured worldwide. I caught on a picture of. I recorded the little girl's voice down in the pool. I set a little doll down there. And when I got the EVP, it said, "Let's grab her." And I freaked out because I thought they were talking about me. And then I realized, I look on my camera and I was like, oh, thank God it was the doll. But for a minute, my heart just jumped. I'm like, they're planning to grab me. And I didn't even hear this. They're planning to grab me. And then I realized, no, they're planning to grab the doll. And I was like, wow, they were intelligent. And then I thought, how are they going to grab the doll with what hands? The ghost hands.
That's awesome.
That's great. Wow. We have another question from Ghost Valley in the chat room. Does it drive you crazy at times when visions just pop up unexpected?
Does it drive me crazy when visions pop up? I don't get as many visions. If I'm tuned in when I'm doing mediumship, then yes, I do get visions because I'm looking for that to as the language to speak from the other side. But what does drive me crazy is the constant babble and talk. And this goes on all day long. From the time I wake up, I'm brushing my teeth, somebody's talking. I'm going to sleep, I keep waking up. People are talking. I get a lot of, not just spirits talking, my guides for some reason lately will not stop talking. I'm listening to the ancients, the ascended masters telling me all sorts of stuff, like what I did wrong for the day and what I should do. And lately, I don't know, there's a shift in the energy. I feel it. But I'm not, I mean, and I've talked to other people that just aren't, everyone's waking up. They're not getting a lot of sleep. They're getting headaches. There's some weird stuff going on. And so more than ever, I'm just not getting sleep anymore. There is just constant talking. And if I didn't know better, I would think I was going insane. However, I know that people talk to me in my head all the time, but it's become a bit much. So that part, yeah, it's getting worse.
Oh, I'll be darned. That's interesting. Let's see. Well, you know what? We're going to go on break, and then we're going to be right back in about 2-3 minutes, and we'll have more with Valentina Lomborg Wiley, the Ghost Girl. We'll be right back, you guys.
Oh. UFOs, Bigfoot, cryptids.
All the shit on the calling. Just think if you listen to the words of Para X.
Hey there. I don't know if you've heard, but there's a great new radio show on Para X. 2 hosts, 1 hour, and too much fun. Stephanie and Heidi not only talk about the latest goings on in the supernatural worlds, they live it. They want to hear from you. They want to help you understand and guide you. And they want you to tune in. So, grab a friend or come alone to gather around that metaphysical table with Heidi and Stephanie. If you're interested in the worlds of the unseen, tune in to the Gathering Radio Show, Tuesdays at 9 p.m. Eastern on Para X Radio.
Geek ladies Sean and Victoria from Exploring the Paranormal with Geeks Paranormal are at it again with another amazing season full of paranormal celebrity interviews with amazing guests and stories of haunted locations and so much more. You will hear it first on Para X. Tune in Wednesday nights, 8 p.m. Central. You will not be disappointed.
All right, we're back. This is Jerry with the Call-In Radio Show and the one and only Kimberly Juarez. She likes that. I don't know. But you just let you guys know that, we have lost a lot of our shows on our website due to somebody hacking into one of our accounts, and we didn't get them back. We got back a couple of very important ones, which we're not going to put back on there because that was way before even Alan's time. I just want to let you guys know that. And then also, too, if you're interested in this show, you haven't heard the first half, you want to listen to it, it'll be on and available tomorrow night on www.thecallingradioshow.com and also on the Calling Radio Show YouTube channel. We now have started putting things there, and people are, really getting into it. They're being able to check it out and everything. So pretty cool. Now there's two shows you should know about. One, The Gathering. The Gathering. That's right. The Gathering is Tuesday night at 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, only on Para X, as Stephanie and Heidi sit at the metaphysical table and talk about everything. They do a great job. Last night's show was marvelous. Also, too, every Sunday night, there's the He Said, She Said cryptid show. Oh my God, it's my cold, guys. Give me a break. It's also Sunday nights from 8 p.m. Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it's pretty good. It's really starting to take in a lot of form, and it's kind of fun to see one say, well, I believe in this, and the other one says, no, I don't think so. It's pretty cool. You learn a lot, so check it out. Okay, now we're back. Kimmy, are you there still?
I am here, Jerry.
Now, if you have any questions, Kim, just say, Jerry, shut up. I have questions. And yes, Dave, easy for me to say, not. Let's see now. Does Stephanie and Heidi have those shows that are gone? They still have their shows. They're still there. Good to hear you're better this week, Jerry. Thank you very much, Jerry. I appreciate that. So let's see. We're going to get back to Valentina. Are you there?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So now I want to put in this real quick. Sorry, Kim. I know Kim's like, Jer, I do half this show too. That's why I say Juarez from now on. She likes it. It's hot. Anyway, so Kim, or not Kim, Valentina, Mrs. V, as I call you. A long time ago, back in 2014, on Facebook, you had this, you were going to do a clearing, and you said you had bought your a brand new selenite wand, and you were very excited about it. And I sent you a message, and the message was, so you use selenite wand for clearing. How's that different than regular? And you said, or I said, I'm thinking of getting one. Where would I find one? And you said, Jerry, just use the very large piece of black tourmaline you have on your dresser next to your bed. You don't remember that?
I don't remember that, but that's crazy. I
You
believe
freaked
you.
me out. You freaked me out so bad that day. And I know Stephanie, I remember telling her about that, and she's like, "Really?" And it's like, yeah, it was pretty nuts to hear that. That's why I was really pumped in having a reading. Now, do you still do the readings via Skype and everything with people?
Yeah, absolutely. There's many options. Like I said, it's either in person, I do texted readings, I do photo readings, I do Skype or FaceTime or any other video. I think I even did a WhatsApp one.
Right.
Yeah, so
So,
I mean, every way.
got it. So now if somebody wants to have a reading done by you, how can they get a hold of you?
Okay, so that's a good question. They can go to my website, which is Psychic Medium Valentina. I had to think because I changed it. PsychicMediumValentina.com. And there's many different types of services, so they can look there and see the type of service they need. I offer different ranges, all sorts of budgets for everyone there, and then they can just book the appointment there. And if it needs to be video, then just put that in the notes. And then it's pretty self-sufficient. There's a calendar there, and you can book it and pay, and then we're done.
Wow. See, that's pretty easy, guys. So you can just go to the psychicmediumvalentina.com, which I just put into the chat room. So you can click that if you guys want to check out her website. And Stephanie's asking, we do not have the shows that are gone, so we only have the gathering shows. Yep, that I know. You don't have any of my old shows from then. Nobody loved me then. Anyway, no, I'm kidding. So Kim, questions?
So I just want to know, so we were wondering,
Yeah.
what is the difference between how you clear or cleanse? What is the difference?
Okay, so cleansing, usually I go to people's house and I will manipulate the energy. Let's say it's a little funky from either the living or maybe there's some, I did clear a house where there was they lived a block from a graveyard, and so I think something had wandered in. So cleansing is usually just cleansing that energy and making it more not so heavy, making it a little bit lighter. Clearing would be if there's some leftover gunk, which would be low vibrational ghosts, which are of course different than spirits. Spirits should be up above and in the universe, and ghosts are what is lingering, that is that imprint. They're more apt to materialize because they're not in the human body anymore, but they haven't crossed over either. So this is when you see things, apparitions and things like that.
Is that the same as the earthbound?
Yes, okay. We can call it low vibrational. We can call it a ghost, an apparition. That kind of stuff it's stuck because it's heavy. Right. Lighter things, just like air or smoke, will rise. And so if you die properly or improperly, but with some good grace, you should be going up and you should stay up there. You can come and visit, but you shouldn't linger. So anything lingering is generally a different energy.
Right. A question, Dave, in the chat room. Do you really think humans have the power to force spirits to move?
Oh, absolutely. It's just a manipulation of energy. So just as it may take convincing, it may, a lot of the times the ghosts don't know that they're dead, or they are afraid of dying. So if you could do a little bit of manipulation of that energy or coercing and letting them know that it's safe to go, then that's usually all it takes to make them move, because they shouldn't be here after they're dead. So it's important to help those ghosts and spirits go to the proper place.
Right. No, about that. So do you think that, just like not every person can just do that? A lot of it has to do with their own spirit guides. Don't you think? Do you think? How am I trying to put this? Do you think that spirit guides sometimes can't help a bereaved person? They can try to guide them, but sometimes it takes a little extra on the other side to help guide them on.
So what you're saying is that can spirit guides help a ghost that hasn't crossed over?
Yeah, what I mean is, like when everybody was alive and stuff like that, a lot of us have like a spirit guide or
Right.
have a guide in our life and stuff. And so when somebody passes on, I truly believe that when a person passes on and they realize that they're gone, that, it's like a freak out time. They don't sometimes know exactly where they are. A lot of people will want to say that there's a light that goes to them and they just know they're supposed to go to it. But, sometimes that's not the case.
Right.
Sometimes you have like a person with addiction, smoking, gambling, whatever, and stuff like that. They kind of stick with someone that is exactly same thing. So by a person being alive to try to help push that person, especially a person that is gifted enough to be able to do that, or, like when I go to clear houses or to help people move on, I'm huge on smudge.
Yeah.
Especially the sage to help clear the entity, the tobacco to calm everything, the cedar for the protection of everybody in the house, and for the sweetgrass to call upon their ancestors. So in a way, their spirit guides to come down and to help move them.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, and you come from, I think I recall it was more like a Native American background and taking some of those traditions and asking for help for that. I think I just try to do the best I can. And even when I do the mediumship readings, there's a lot of healing going on, not just to heal the living, but also sometimes the deceased up there still have things that have to be cleared. So I do a lot of kind of inter-counseling, if you will, between the two, just to get everyone on the same page again, so that connection can be wonderful and pure, instead of there's still bad blood. Sometimes people die and there's very bad blood, and I have to sit there and fix all that as well, and it saddens me because it's like, this is family. I don't really have any family anymore, and these people are fighting, and it's so unnecessary. So my job is also, it goes beyond mediumship, is also just to rekindle that relationship, whether they had it before or not, So there's a lot going on during my sessions. It's very intense, which is why sometimes I have to take a nap for 2 days because, it is what it is. But it can be really, really, it's at least my sessions, it's no Long Island medium or anything like that. It's not all laffy daffy, it's very intense because I really am here to bridge that gap.
So what do you use, Valentina, for your protection or for someone else's protection? What do you like to do?
Well, I don't need any protection during the mediumship readings because honestly, this sounds horrible, but I had so much. I had 2 years of demonic attacks. I was attacked over 11 times. So when they finally went away, I knew I was so pure that even when I open up, nothing bad ever comes through. It's all only pure. So I don't do any protection things. I used to spend an hour before each reading doing all this stuff and grounding and protecting. I just go straight into a reading and feel very confident that everything coming through is just of the light. And it's a nice feeling,
And your client, do you use anything in that, or do you tell them what to do, or?
We do shots of tequila before. No, I'm kidding. Oh my God. No, honestly, the biggest thing I ask is that people aren't on any drugs or drinking. If they're on medication, well, we can't do anything about that. But just to come calmly, that's the biggest protection they can have. Don't be skeptic because that closes that door. You have to come. And I do get some skeptics, and it's like I can feel it, and that kind of starts making, It's not only mocking my gifts, but it's like you're coming
It's
here
like a
kind
barrier.
yeah, it's
A
like
barrier. You
challenging
get
me.
blocked. Yeah, you
Yeah,
get blocked.
and so I'm just reading their skepticism. It doesn't help them at all because I need you to be
Right.
open. Even if you just want to believe for that 1 hour, I don't care. Then go back to being a skeptic, but just believe
Right.
and
Absolutely.
come on board. And
Right.
then we've got this, But I just ask that everyone's relaxed and then we open up. I do have a lot of clients with dark stuff, and I just tell them, I give them different things they can do for cleansings, oils, rocks. I mean, crystals. Rocks sounded kind of crystals. Crystal sounds prettier. Crystals, oils, incense. Get some rocks. No, and then I only really sage in between clients. I like to just sage good energy around because I find whenever we sage a haunted place, the activity gets worse. They really don't like it. So I try to stay away from sage in bad places, but just I give people the tools that they need to have a little worksheet for them that they can take if they've got bad things. So that's how that works.
Wow. When you were talking about sage, I use it everywhere. I mean,
I know.
For myself and thing. We did a case in Clara City, Minnesota, and it was funny because when I lit the bowl of sage and was going around the two places that had the most activity, the sage was smoking up a storm. We couldn't even see. It was incredible. And when we finally left, or we walked out and stuff, Steph at that time had asked me, she said, you have a house blessing kit, which was an exorcism kit given to me by Reverend Michael Schrader, the exorcist. And she says, can I use that? And I went, yeah, sure, And I didn't really say it was an exorcism kit. I just, it's house blessing. So Steph used it, and she actually, we had voices. We also had a crucifix that one of the guys was holding as he's reading out of the Bible, and Steph's putting crosses on the window, flew off, broke. Wow. All four of the rivets flew off, broke, and we never found the crucifix again, or the Jesus part of it. And then we also got film of something white light coming down, like a big white ball, hitting one of the guys in the chest and just exploding out black.
Wow.
It was crazy, but they hadn't had any problems since then. So, I still believe, I firmly believe in sage. I have sage everywhere around here, in my car, everything, just in case,
Yeah, not to, I'm not belittling sage. Everyone has their own use for it, I just find that there's a pattern sometimes with people trying to use sage for like demonic cases. It doesn't work sometimes. So that doesn't mean you can't keep doing it until maybe they back down. But I'm just saying it almost always stirs up more activity. It's like they know that you're doing it, and they're like, oh, let's up the ante.
Right. Steve B has a question.
Yes.
Have you had your aura read? What colors are showing?
Me?
Yeah.
No. Here's the extent, and I would love to have it done, but here's the extent. I was at Starbucks once when I lived in Hermosa Beach, and some crazy woman just walks up to me and goes, "Oh, your aura is pink." And I thought, well, this was back when I always had like pink on anyway and pink hair. So I thought, well, I didn't think much of it. But apparently pink is good, I guess. I don't know. But I have no idea what color my aura is. Maybe it's black. I don't know. I don't know.
Oh, I don't think it's black. Well, all the different colors, you don't know exactly.
It's polka dotted.
There you go. Yeah. So now Sherry's asking, aura tuning, is that something that you have done?
Aura tuning? No. I get Reiki done probably every 6 months, and then I have psychics that I work with that remotely fix me, or they'll call me and say, "V, something is off," or I'll be like sick and say, can you just check what's going on? So I have a couple of close friends I use for that have gifts too, and just they could tune in and see what's up. I like to make sure that I stay aligned. I am sick a lot, and it takes a toll on me. It's not caused by anything other than I'm just sick because my system's weakened from the brain injury. But some people are like, oh, well, you've got to take a break from all your readings. I work sometimes through my sickness and do readings anyway because it's not going to get any better. So, but the readings have nothing to do with. I will feel pain and I will take on things that people have during the readings, but I will shake it off as soon as it's a momentary thing and then it's gone. Nothing lingers.
Wow. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Steph was saying she loves Palo Santo. She does use that a lot.
That is wonderful. Nice smell.
I love the sage. Good old Minnesota sage.
Your sage.
South Dakota sage. I don't like that California stuff. That's too flowery.
Sage.
Sorry, guys.
I like to sprinkle some lavender seeds, not seeds, but the lavender buds in there too on the sage, so it's not so sagey smelling, because it does smell a little bit like smoke and skunk sometimes. But if you put a little, or some drops of oil too, some frankincense or something, just to give it a different smell than the sage. My eyes, for the most part, all day are like red and watery because I have to sage all day in between clients. So by the end of the night, my husband comes home and thinks I've been crying, and I'm like, no, it's the sage.
Gotcha.
My eyes are so sensitive too, and I have to burn incense all day too, and the house is so smoky. But that's the way I like it.
Right. Sherry said something about Florida water.
Oh, yeah. I have that down here, too. I know. I read that in a book one day, and I was like, oh, this sounds interesting. Something new to use. We have it at Publix. It's like $1.50. I will buy like 5 or 6 of those bottles and spray it. It smells like the weirdest cheap cologne, but there's something appealing about it. It's very high vibrational. And it's like but that's also known to be good for casting out things.
Right.
Have you ever tried
Kimmy.
it?
No, I was just reading what that they were chatting. Like this one here is Dave said, if demons are spirits, why can't people simply tell them to leave just like they do with the rest of them?
Oh, demons aren't spirits, first of all. Let's clarify that. Demons are very low vibrational. Okay. First, you have to understand that, I know Kim does, but there's vibration. Anything high vibrational is rising up towards the universe. It's light, angelic, it's positive. Anything low vibrational is sinking towards the earth, which means it's heavy, it's earthbound. Demons, for the most part, aside from being like bad angels and stuff, are kind of conjured up things. There's variations of demons and levels, just like there's levels of angels. Mm-hmm. So some are little, I've had some that were just little pranksters. Some are like extremely evil and make people do evil things. They wreak havoc in the house. So there's different levels of that. So they can be cast out eventually. But they're very relentless and very patient, so they're a lot harder to get rid of. And in both cases, I needed to call in Bill Bean, who's one of my very good friends, and he had to do exorcisms on the house and had to extract both demons. And it took a while. It took probably 2-3 weeks.
Was that with you? Was that with you or a client?
No, that was me. That my own personal hell 11 times with scratches all over me. I have a scar that one of the demons actually left a scar on my leg that I have permanently as a reminder of being scratched. It ripped pictures off the wall. I was praying one day. I had a YouTube on the the computer. I was praying. I had a religious song on. I got done. I went over to turn the song off. The computer had completely been turned off by the demon. So they're capable of a lot of bad things, you know, and I mean, Kim knows what I'm talking about. Nobody will really believe it until you go through your own personal hell yourself or see it. And then that's all it takes to make a believer. There's nothing else, because you cannot have good and angels and peaches and unicorns without the bad.
Exactly.
And,
I tell that to people all the time.
No, they think, oh, there's no such thing. Well, yeah, you just wait. You know, and so thank God I took as many pictures. I recorded the evidence. I had an EVP, not EVP. I used the Mel meter, and it was off the charts. It was just climbing, and literally I felt just the most electricity in the air I'd ever felt in my room, and I was panicking. I was so scared, and that's what made it worse. I had my bed slammed into. It felt like a Mack truck had hit the bed, and that was when I lived in LA, so I looked and saw if there was an earthquake, and there wasn't. It was just this crazy demon slammed into the bed. You know, so now when I see these shows and I see people's beds being lifted up, I don't sit there and laugh at that anymore, because I understand what they're capable of, and it's very real, you know. So all I can say is, for those naysayers that don't believe in demons, you know, you have to wait to see and experience before, you know, or take other people's word for it, you know, because thousands of people cannot be wrong.
Right. Well, we're down to a couple minutes left. And so, again, you're so sad. So, roughly, has anything popped to your head yet about myself or Kimmy?
Oh, yes. I actually wrote some notes down. That's why I got the paper. Okay, so it's very quick. It was just two things. But, Kim, I feel another pet energy that you will get later this year.
Oh, no.
Sorry. I thought you'd be happy. Jeez, I didn't expect that.
No, it's not that. It's just it's just like, it's just so full right now, and it's like I'm barely trying to get them to be all calm. There you go, Valentina. What could I do to calm them? What am I doing wrong that I'm not giving that good energy to calm them all? Because I don't want them to think that they have to worry about this new dog. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah. Well, you might, I know it's a little silly, but you might try just a little bit of lavender oil on them, and maybe just sit with them on the ground. Remember, pets and animals, they work off of emotions. They don't really have any logical way of thinking. They're not really thinking about much. They go off of how you're feeling. So I think if you exude example of just being calm, maybe laying down with them on the floor and just having, just like you would do with children. Let's lay down and have time out. You know, let's imagine things. Let's sleep. Then you could work that way. And if you have that vibration coming from you that's very calm, they will pick that up as well, because they sense it. So you lead by example.
Okay.
Well, you know,
awesome.
I could see that working with dogs, but not with a cat. You lay down, you are fair game.
The cat might put its paw over you and probably take your breath. And then, Jerry, May 30th. I don't know. Just write it down. I don't know what it means. Either way, it's a change, a shift coming. So that's all I have for you. But it's nothing bad. So just know that.
May 30th.
May 30th.
Okay.
When I feel shifts in people, they could go good or bad, but in this case, I'm not feeling anything bad. But shifts are usually changes of maybe growth or something new being interjected into your life. But for you, this feels like a year, Jerry, that things are turning around a bit. And so May 30th may be something that is life-changing, not major life-changing, but, you know, some things are going to be shifting around in your favor. But May 30th, that's the first thing that came, and only thing. So we'll have to just watch that. Obviously, we won't know for now what the heck that means.
That's awesome, Jerry.
So hold on one second here. So May 30th, could it be, you said life-changing thing, could it be a visitation?
Is there someone, does it relate to you in another way? Is there someone coming May 30th?
It kind of does.
Ooh.
It kind of does. I'll tell you another time.
Tell me off the record.
Yep, I'll tell you off the record. So everybody, thank you so much, all of you guys.
Thank you.
Like the troops just, some new troops had just emailed me and said they're listening to the show and they love it. So
guys.
you guys be safe.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Valentina, so much. Thank you so much for
Yeah,
coming on.
Thank you.
Sarge,
So
thank
wonderful
you.
to meet you.
Sarge, thank you. It's awesome. Para X is fantastic. And we'll see you guys all next Wednesday. And all right, have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
On one.